Good morning and welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Dr. Melissa Natter and I'm a pediatric cardiologist specializing in cardiac critical care here at Advocate Children's Hospital. We are celebrating Heart Month, and especially this week is Congenital Heart Disease Week. And we are very happy to share with you the story of Soreyl and her parents, Sylvia and Rogelio. Soreyl was born with a congenital heart defect called AV canal. We're going to talk a little bit more later about that. But she needed surgery repairs typically done before the first 6 months of life in order for the condition not to become irreversible. Now Soreyl here was born in Puerto Rico, and so was I. And she was actually being seen and being scheduled for her heart surgical repair when Hurricane Maria hit the island. Now, due to the hurricane's devastation, the lack of electricity and water and medical supplies, Soreyl's surgery had to be postponed indefinitely. And her brave parents, without any agenda or anything, just decided not to wait for that and just hopped on a plane and came to Chicago with no plans. The only plan was for Rogelio to stay at her sister's house. Meanwhile, I was here just struggling, trying to find a way to help people in Puerto Rico. And it was actually due to a Facebook post that the story began. So there is this Facebook group called Physicians Mom Group. There's 70,000 members. And Soreyl's pediatrician from Puerto Rico posted a cry for help, desperate, looking for a pediatric cardiologist in Chicago that could help Soreyl. And somebody who knew me tagged me, and that is why we're here today. So I got this, I was able to connect with this pediatrician through text messages because all the phone lines were down in Puerto Rico. And we were able to contact the family, and immediately I arranged and spoke with my colleagues over here to my left. Dr. Bergen is a cardiologist who also speaks Spanish and was important in order to help this family. And then we arranged to bring her here in order to schedule her surgery with Dr. Michel Ilbawi, who's the chief of our cardiothoracic surgery. I wanted to also say that, as I said, Puerto Rico is my home, but there's also, with this tragedy, I was able to connect with other Puerto Rican physicians here in Chicago that I did not know before, and together we were able to arrange and help this family.
I was given the honor and pleasure to help coordinate her care upon arrival. I'm in my high-risk cardiology clinic. My main role in the hospital is the director of the cardiac critical care program, but I also do see some private patients on the side, and the majority of which tend to be high-risk complex patients and or Spanish-speaking patients. I was blessed by the use of email to get lots of information from her cardiologist and pediatrician back in Puerto Rico. So I already came with a lot of information about this young child, but also realizing that a timeline was already set in place. As Dr. Natter said, there is better outcomes long term if we can repair this congenital heart lesion in a timely fashion between 4 and 6 months. We were already reaching the end of that 4 to 6 months. And my goal was to get a timely surgery in so that we can have less concerns for complications. The most specific one being high blood pressure in the lungs after surgery, pulmonary hypertension. I worked with this family upon arrival from a medical standpoint, making sure we can get medications for her before her surgery, and talking with the family about what exactly we will be doing with surgery and preparing them for what it's going to be like having a child in an intensive care unit. I gave the family kind of the driver's seat as to when we do surgery. I was ready and willing to do it as soon as they would like, but not wanting to push them due to the stresses of it being right around a big holiday. Our surgical team was ready and willing to also accommodate their schedule to help this family. We decided to get through the first Thanksgiving for them with their child, and we scheduled the surgery shortly thereafter. And then, you know, I have had the pleasure to continue following her afterwards, after the surgery and ongoing cares, and I can share more about that.
Where in the timeline of the 4 to 6 months window was the baby when you actually did the surgery?
She was already 6 months.
Yeah, when she arrived, she was already at the 6-month time frame.
So she was born in May? Born in May, okay. So how's she doing?
In my standpoint, she's doing great. I'm very pleased at how she's doing and how quickly she recovered. Children, all in all, are incredibly resilient. Children with trisomy 21 have an additional factor of resiliency and surprise us to no end on a daily basis. They came to our cardiac neurodevelopmental program and surprised everybody. Children with trisomy 21, all in all, have neurodevelopmental delays. It's a spectrum. Some have significant delays, some have mild delays. It can be in cognition, it can be in their motor tone. This child came in without having any specific direct therapies up to this point, and she scored on objective tests incredibly well. She not only surprised myself, she surprised our physical therapists, our occupational therapists, and our speech therapist. This is a huge testament to these wonderful parents. These parents have been serving as her physical therapist, as her occupational therapist, as her speech therapist during their time of struggles, trying to find a new home in a new city in a very, very different climate.
Was this a life-threatening situation? What was the prognosis? If she didn't get this surgery, it basically saved her life?
If we did not have this surgery in a timely fashion, and unfortunately I can't say exactly what that date is, because from past experience, when children didn't have the operation, they continued to live, but they lived with morbidities, meaning complications. Their exercise levels were not good. Their oxygen saturations within their blood were not good. They would be walking around and playing and faint. They would not be able to get good blood flow to their heart and lungs. Giving her the option of having this surgery earlier, it gives the time for the lungs to remodel, and this high blood pressure in the lungs has a better chance of coming down in a timely fashion back towards normal.
And Doctor, for you, being a Puerto Rican background, I mean, this just has to be hugely gratifying for you, right?
Yes, actually, as I was saying, after the hurricane, I personally was struggling a lot and trying to find ways to help back my island. You know, I lived there for 28 years before I came here, and it actually makes me very emotional that I was able to help this family when they needed it. I promised myself not to cry today, but it actually is very rewarding to know that I was able to connect them and help them in a way that I didn't even imagine when this all happened. So yes, it hits home.
So how long from when you first heard about it, or you were tagged by this other person, to when you were actually able to talk to your colleagues, talk to advocate, and get the ball rolling?
1 day.
And then take us to the next timeline. How long before they came?
So this post was a month and a half after the hurricane. I think they've been in Chicago for about 3 days. I saw the post on a Wednesday, and we were able to see her the next Thursday here in the hospital, and then the surgery was planned 2 weeks after that.
And we were planning to do charity care for this child. It was not a question in our minds. By the time she stepped in our office, she already had insurance, which does not happen ever. And I think it was just the family's aggressive nature and getting things done even before they left Puerto Rico. In addition to that, we were able to, through the work of Dr. Natir, provide clothes and items for the family before another alignment of the stars, and Pastor Grady and his congregation came in and helped with everything else.
as this case presented, once you got her in the operating theater, was it relatively textbook at that point, or was it extra complicated?
No, I think, as Dr. Van Bergen mentioned, the fact that she was late in presentation was a major concern, because the later the presentation is, the more pressure in the lung vessels is, and probably there is some more damage to the lung vessels. Fortunately, in her case, there was no serious damage to the lung vessels at the time of surgery.
Why do you think this all worked?
¿Por qué piensas tú que todo esto funcionó como funcionó? Nosotros como padres, nosotros
Because us as
buscamos
parents,
todo,
I mean, we did
hacer
everything
todo
we
lo
could.
posible para el bienestar de ella,
We did everything for her well-being.
para su bienestar, porque en realidad pues en Puerto Rico todo fue muy duro, incluso desde que ella nació y estuvimos todo el tiempo buscando su bienestar.
Everything
¿Por qué no
was so
buscarlo en otro
difficult.
sitio, aunque sea totalmente desconocido?
Everything was so difficult in Puerto Rico, so we figured let's go to a place that we don't know, and we could do this there. Even if we don't know that place, we could do this, we can help our daughter.
Al cuarto de la nena
Dr. Ilbawi actually came straight into the room where our daughter was
varias veces.
several times to see her.
Y yo vi con mi profesor que él también iba personalmente a los otros cuartos
And I would
y
see how
le
he
daba
would,
seguimiento. Esas son cosas
he would follow up with everyone individually in that unit.
que no se ve todo el tiempo.
And you don't see that all of the time.
Melissa nos llamaba personalmente de
Dr. Melissa
su
would,
propio celular, de eso no se ve todo
Nether
el
would
tiempo en
call
Puerto
us all
Rico.
the time and keep up with us and call the pediatrician in Puerto Rico to follow up.
Van Bergen siempre nos contestaba las
Dr.
llamadas,
Van Bergen
todas las dudas
always
que
answered
teníamos.
our calls. Every time we called him, he answered our calls.
Han actuado súper.
Everything was
Estamos bien
just
agradecidos.
superb. We are so grateful.
So at Chicago First Church of the Nazarene, we were preparing for the Christmas season, and our plan for Christmas was how do we make this Christmas count? And we're always looking for ways where we can be generous and give a lift up to some families in need. And so for our Christmas Eve service, we had an idea to reach out to a family in need and just to bless them. And so we had a doctor in our congregation contact the Children's Hospital, and a social worker, Kathy, put me in contact with Rogelio. And so what we did is we went and we shot a video just telling their story and kind of explaining their courage to bring their family to Chicago. And we showed that on Christmas Eve. And then we just said on Christmas Eve, we asked our people, would you like to bless this family? And we took up a cash offering and were able to really help them. And then a family connected to our church knew of their need for transportation because they have all kinds of appointments that they need to make in a city that's new to them. And so this man had connection with a local dealership, and we were able to, on Christmas Eve, we brought them on stage and were able to surprise them with that cash offering and then let them know that we were going to be giving them a car as well. And they're an easy family to love because they are doing everything they can to make sure that their daughter has the best life possible. So we've been blessed as much, if not more, than they have. Just from our relationship. I introduced Rogelio and Sylvia to Chipotle, and so he texts me pictures when they go to Chipotle now and rubs it in my face. So, but yeah, we love this family. Yeah.
We are also so very grateful for all
La
that
forma
they've
en
done
que,
for us.
la forma en que ellos se acercaron,
Just the way that they approached us.
nos dijeron para hacer oración por la
They
niña.
prayed for our daughter.
Estamos
La
sumamente agradecidos.
aceptación
We are just
de
so
su parte ha
grateful.
sido increíble.
That it's just been incredible.
Ha sido de mucha ayuda porque
All the help we've
nosotros nos
received.
sentíamos, de hecho, prácticamente solos.
We felt
La única
so
persona que conocemos era su
alone.
hermana.
And all we thought we knew here was my
Y, pues,
sister-in-law, his sister.
Eso, ¿verdad? Ese cariño se siente.
And that love, you feel it. You really feel the love.